can't believe I never thought about my mother before in these times of infusions, because my mother had colon cancer and she died on my 12th birthday. And I'll never forget her coming home from chemo and radiation and cooking dinner for us 5 kids. My youngest sister was barely 3. But I never thought of what she must have been thinking when she was sitting in the same place as me. But unlike me, I don't think I'm going to die. I think she knew she was going to die, and I can't imagine what that must have felt like. And being here in the oncology ward has really brought home, and I just, I feel really connected to her. And I wrote about her in my book, Chapter 7, Tiny But Tough. And I just wanted to share this chapter with you because the way we handled my mother's death is probably why I am the way I am. My dad taught us to really think about all the reasons why we should be grateful for what we had in our lives and live our lives the way our mother would have wanted us to, and not grieving. My mother chose to die on my 12th birthday. She was in a coma, but before she fell into that coma, she said, I'm going to make it to my firstborn's birthday. And I'm just going to read you a bit. This is Chapter 7, Tiny But Tough. Some people, sweet and attractive, and strong and healthy, happen to die young. They are teachers in disguise, teaching us about impermanence. I stared at the phone, willing it to ring. It was the morning of my 12th birthday. I had awakened early, eagerly anticipating a call from my mother, and I was reluctant to leave for school until I had spoken to her. There was no way she could forget. Today, of all days, she would surely make the effort to call me. In the months preceding my birthday, Mum had spent considerable time away. The odd weekend she did come home, she would send us kids outside while she chatted with her friends, who visited the moment they heard she was home. It upset me terribly. I knew she'd be away for my birthday, but thought, at the very least, she'd call. Dad made me go to school, and I reluctantly trudged off. One did not argue with the king. But when I arrived, I was so glad I had gone. My birthday was announced at assembly, and the entire junior high sang happy birthday. Friends, teachers, and families I'd known for years showered me with gifts, birthday hugs, and good wishes. I felt like a rock star. By lunchtime, I'd forgotten all about my mother not calling. So overwhelmed was I by all the attention. The celebrations continued when I returned home. Neighbors, my grandparents, and friends crammed into our shoebox of a house, laden with brownies, strawberry shortcake, and cheesy lasagnas. By coincidence, 2 of my friends gave me the exact same gift, T-shirts printed with Tiny But Tough. This slogan summed me up in 3 simple but powerful words. So many people came, all bringing gifts because they knew what I did not, that my world was about to change forever. Dad came home just as dusk was setting in. I was on a sugar high. He called me into his bedroom. I waited with bated breath to see the wonderful birthday gift he brought for me. As I stood in front of him, twirling around, showing off my new T-shirt, I saw tears well up in his eyes. My sister, Wendy, next in line for my hand-me-downs, ran in, eager to see what was coming her way. I looked at her. She looked at me. Then both of us turned to look at Dad. And in that moment, we both knew Mum was dead. My mother had been undergoing treatment for colon cancer. Unbeknownst to me, a week before my birthday, as she was slipping in and out of a coma, she swore to my father, I will live until Kat's birthday. I will fight until that day. Days later, we stood by my mum's graveside, throwing handfuls of dirt onto her coffin. It was a bitterly cold, rainy autumn day, much like the day on which my mother brought me into the world. Dad stood beside me, holding my hand. Why'd she have to pick my birthday to die? It's not fair. It was her gift to you, he replied gently. Your mum fought so hard to stay alive. It was an incredible testament to the strength of love and the human spirit. He explained that against all odds, she'd lingered in and out of a coma, refusing to die until her firstborn's birthday. She loved you, Dad said. Don't you ever forget that. Then he told me something I've never forgotten. In our lives, nothing is permanent, not even the people we love the most. It's terribly sad, and it's never easy, but it is life. The intensity of the pain you're feeling right now, it will fade and eventually pass, but it's up to you to decide how long that takes. I felt the warmth of his hand through my coat as he squeezed my shoulder gently. You can think of your mother's death on your birthday as a terrible tragedy, or you can think of it as a gift. I know which one your mother would have wanted you to choose. Looking back now, I know Dad was right. Mum filled our lives with happiness and fun. She had a zest and passion for life, underpinned by an incredible inner strength. My mother was 33 when she gave birth to her last child, my sister Tracy. A few months later, she went to the doctor for persistent stomach pain. Initially, the doctor attributed the pain to the burden placed on Mum's body by multiple pregnancies over a short period of time. After a year of her repeated complaints, he sent her for a colonoscopy. 2 days later, she was on the operating table. I'm just going to skip to the end of that chapter. At 12 years old, my mother's death was terribly tragic, but it taught me some powerful truths. Every beginning has an end. Our joy and grief, our pleasure and pain, our health, family, and friends all have expiration dates. All we have control over is how we respond to change, to death, to the loss of something cherished. As Thich Nhat Hanh, a wise Buddhist monk, said, it's not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. These days, I try to live my life as my mother did, with love, laughter, kindness, compassion, and the occasional scoop of chocolate ice cream. Because in the end, all you can do is live your best life, knowing, like she did, that your enduring legacy, your most precious gift, is to leave behind family, friends, and a community bonded together and made stronger by your love and by the knowledge that although death is inevitable, the love continues on.